What's up? I'm back again. Just had a few words I wanted to say. Just doing some thinking. It's funny because even though my imagination is unlimited, I still seem to find the stories of my own life to be even more inspirational to myself, if that makes any sense. To think that I was another I, is mind-boggling. And of course, to see the longer-term consequences of actions as they play out in your life is also fascinating. Just this whole human experience thing that I've lived, that we're all living, has been mind-blowing. I can't believe sometimes that I'm here. It's so far out. It's just a bizarre journey, this thing. And when you look back at your life, what you realize too, of course, is that you did not know shit. I, at one point, did not know shit. I didn't know shit. I had to earn all the shit that I know. I had to suffer and I had to lose in various ways to be the master of shit that I am now. Because I didn't used to be a master of shit. I used to be the one who got shit on. You know what I'm saying? By making stupid decisions, etc. When the master of shit talks, people should listen. The master of shit didn't get to be the master by just sitting around looking cute. Okay, they know what they're talking about. Somebody like me, toot my horn, generally know what I'm talking about when it comes to things in life. At this point, I would hope so. My life alone is just a freaky thing to me. And I mean, you think about just your one life. And then you think about right now, there's 7 billion people on the planet, and all of them are sharing this really, really weird experience of being alive and perceiving and determining courses of action, making choices, suffering, loving, losing, hating. The multitudes of experience that we all, are gathered here together sharing. Again, there's a lot of problems with our culture right now that have moved away from what I was just talking about, the individual making decisions and being responsible for their actions and accepting consequences and things like that. Our culture has moved away from the individual being responsible now, and this is part of that whole social justice warrior crap that is being heavily pushed on college campuses now. Thank God that I don't have to deal with that anymore. So I'm not working at any university right now. I don't work there. I've worked in 2 universities in my life. 3, one college and 2 universities. And I'm glad that when I was there, it still had the semblance of a place of learning. It wasn't a coddling zone for kids that should probably still be living at home because they're too stupid to deal with the real world and need to be sheltered from it. But again, I'm going on a tangent away from personal responsibility, but that's a lot of what the social justice warrior thing is about to me too, is people who just don't want to deal with consequences that they create from situations that they don't like. Okay? I don't like what he said, so let's just shut him up. This mentality is everywhere. And again, what they've done is they take the responsibility it's kind of confusing because what they're doing is they're blaming someone else for their own reaction, and this has been happening. We saw that with Milo and even Coulter, and I'm not a huge fan of any of these people. I really don't care. I mean, they don't bother me, and I don't dislike them, and I don't particularly care either way. I don't like Milo, I love him. I think he's a good speaker, whatever. And I'm not going to go on a big tangent about that. But my point is that silencing somebody because you don't agree with them is like the antithesis of free speech. And I can get tired of that cliche, free speech. But I mean, we all have the right to think, see, believe, read, whatever we want. Believe in God or not believe in God. Read a book, not read a book. It's all up to us. So taking away somebody else's right to speak or read or write or think or whatever is a no-no. That's not the kind of culture that I want to be a part of. But again, this all goes back to their own reactions, and so the easiest way for them to avoid having a feeling of unpleasantness is to just never be exposed to anything that goes in contrary to their own particular worldview, which is juvenile. Yeah, I don't even like to use the term juvenile because my 12-year-old is smarter than that. He's smarter. He's smart enough to know that the world does not revolve around him and his little teeny micro existence. So am I. Like with the transgender bathroom thing and stuff. I mean, just all this dumb shit that's being promoted in the culture that means absolutely nothing. But we've moved responsibility away from the individual, and that's what you see in our society right now. You'll have a dumbass like that Facebook murderer guy who killed that black man, the 74-year-old, for no reason. And what do? They come up with apologies already. Say, oh, he was mentally ill. Oh, poor baby, he was mentally ill. Oh, poor baby, he wasn't treated enough. Mental illness isn't treated enough. No responsibility for his actions. He pulled the trigger on a guy. He got into a car. Totally rational. If you followed that story at all, he got into a car, said he was going to kill somebody at random. He was mad at his girlfriend. He live streamed it on Facebook. None of that stuff was irrational in the sense. I mean, the murder obviously is irrational, but what I mean is, those were not the actions of a crazy person. That was a person who had a mission in mind and was going to accomplish it and followed the steps to do so. So how are you going to justify it by saying, "Oh no, he's mentally ill"? So the criminal is not even held accountable for his crime anymore. It's somebody else's fault. Or better yet, of course, the old gun control thing. It's the gun. There's too many guns on the street. I was just reading this. I read a news report about this yesterday. We're talking about Baltimore, Maryland. The murder rate in Baltimore has skyrocketed. I mean, it's they had 101 murders or something in the last 5 months or whatever. Something crazy. This is ridiculous because they haven't had this high of a murder rate since like 2009 or something, right? And the stupid mayor came out and said, "There's too many guns on the street." What? Where are all these guns running around on the street at? I want to see them. I want to see the guns running around shooting people. I've been waiting years for that, man. I keep loaded guns all over the place and shit, and I've never seen one get up and run around. Throughout my life, I've always had guns. Never seen them get up and run around. No more responsibility. No more responsibility. The person's not responsible. It was the gun's fault. Oh, no, it's not the person's fault. He's mentally ill. There was even a case I read about some dumbass I forget if it was in Germany or in Holland or something, did some horrible shit. And you know what they said? It's because he'd been a victim of racism. Oh, my fucking God. Okay. So once again, the perpetrator of a crime that has a real victim is now that he's really the victim. How did we get this fucked up? That's my question. Like this whole social justice warrior culture and this trans LGBT bullshit, these are all creations. They're fictions. And, the saddest part about all this is a lot of these ideas, patriarchy, hegemony, the status quo, the glass ceiling, the post-colonial theory, queer theory, all that crap is coming out of literary theory, unfortunately. This is the stuff I studied, actually. We studied Marx. We studied Marxist theory. We studied post-colonial theory. We studied colonialism. I studied all that crap, but I never freaking realized that it was going to one day escape out into the real world and cause all this shit, all this fucking gender bullshit that they've made complicated what was once a relatively simple thing. Boy, girl. Some people like boys. Some girls like girls. Some boys like boys. Some boys like girls and girls. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, pretty standard. Bathrooms were not an issue. You had a bathroom for boys if they had a penis, and you had another bathroom for girls if they had a vagina. It was simple. Then they started to cloud it and turn it into this whole fluidity thing. And I'm even guilty of participating in that kind of research because I did a huge paper on Love and Rockets comics in which I described gender as being fluid. It said, sexuality, not gender per se, but sexuality was a fluid thing, or could be a fluid thing. But of course I was young. I think I was 32 when I wrote that crap. And now that I look back at that, I'm kind of like, wow, you really fell right into it. But of course, being a writer, I'm able to approach a topic from any perspective. So, I could have taken the same material and found a whole different viewpoint in it if I had chosen to analyze from that viewpoint. But I was asked to do it from a queer theory perspective, which of course I was able to do quite easily because Love and Rockets deals with those types of issues. There's a lesbian, but they're not really lesbians. That's my whole point, is that the title of lesbian didn't fit this character. But anyways, so I've even done this, and now this crap though has become, like the norm. It's my field that's helped create this shit, these ridiculous pronoun removals and proper pronouns in terms like cisgender. I mean, and then pansexual and all this other crap, There was another thing I read about not too long ago, and I don't remember what university this was at. I want to say it was in California. It wasn't in Berkeley, though. This was another school. But they basically came out and said that truth and objectivity are tools of the oppressive, hegemonic cisgender patriarchy. Truth and objectivity are the tools used to oppress people of color, is what they were basically saying. Can you imagine? What people forget about is that these demands that these people have made, from bathrooms to pronoun usage, these are, and I hate to use this cliche, but it's true, first world problems. People in Africa right now who are suffering famine do not give a rat's ass about their gender identity or being referred to with the correct pronouns or which bathroom to use. This is bullshit that comes from a decadent society that has far too much lujo, too much luxury in our society. If you live in a society like ours that even allows you the options of picking pronouns that you don't like or do like, I mean, we've reached a really bad point here. This is a critical point. This means something's wrong with our society. It means we've become too weak. We're worrying about issues that are of absolutely no importance when you have Fukushima dumping radioactive waste into the Pacific Ocean every day. You've got pharmaceutical companies pumping drugs on our kids, pumping drugs on everybody. You've got a government that's completely just lost. I don't even know what that government we have right now is. And yet, we're supposed to be worrying about proper pronoun usage so we don't offend somebody. That's like, what? That's your cause? Your fucking cause? Your fucking cause is pronouns and bathroom usage? Fucking A, dude. When I was even in my generation, I mean, there used to be real issues like, let's say, war was the issue that you got mad about and protested about. Now these people are bitching and protesting about someone's bad feelings about someone else, or someone said something that's offensive. I'm gonna protest. You hurt my feelings. These fucking weak-ass people. Weak-ass kids, man, need to get with the program and realize that is not the solution to anything. People forget that our history as a species is one of conquest and war. That's what we are. We are creatures of war. We're tribal. We are tribal creatures. That's why racism is not going to disappear anytime soon, because it's inerrant. It's part of it's what we are. We're going to be, of course, attracted to people that are like us more than we're going to be attracted to people who are not like us. That's common freaking sense. I don't know what the problem is here. It's ridiculous. But these people, they need to realize that what human nature really is. And in the facade that we live in, you can get away with protesting about gender usage, proper gender usage, and proper pronoun usage. You can get away with all that. Be happy that we live in this facade that is supposedly so oppressive to you. Because if you didn't live in this facade, I can guarantee you what would happen. You wouldn't last a fucking second in Hobbes' state of nature. That's right, Thomas Hobbes, look him up. Okay, Leviathan. He describes human nature for what it really is. He's probably the most accurate analyzer of human nature that there has ever been, in my opinion. He boils it down. Mankind's natural state is a state of warfare. Our life is short, brutal, and nasty in those conditions. That's why we created this whole government thing, so that we can go around doing our work and stuff without being murdered for our wallet. Okay? That's human nature. Those people need to realize that. This sort of reality is very fragile. They need to be careful, because in the state of nature, of course, if that is the fact, which I believe it is, from what I've seen, it reveals it to be a brutal. We are a brutal race. There's nothing about that, and we are warriors. I mean, it's just how it is. Be happy with the facade that's being kept in place. Be grateful for that, because tribalism, if we were back in the state of nature, would run rampant. And, you know, any minority, and particularly these, you know, like, let's talk about the LGBT people, the trans people, whatever. I hate to tell them what would happen to them. It would be like the Christians under the Romans. Okay, it would be the same kind of situation. The minority someday might become the majority. You know, the black sheep will rule the white sheep. There won't be any more white sheep till they become the minority, right? But these people would be eliminated. They'd be eliminated because this is a warrior culture, a warrior race. That's what would happen. You know, and it would happen, and as it has happened to other minorities in the past, in probably the most, you know, vicious and violent ways. You know, and that's what people seem to forget. They get all cocky in this little bubble we live in here, this facade. You know. But anyways, so I don't know what my point is with this video. I just felt like, I guess, kind of bitching about stuff that I've been seeing go on that just, again, just is flabbergasting to me. The stupidity of humans right now is mind-blowing. In fact, I would say that we are actually regressing. You know, if these young social justice warrior people were actually put in charge of the world, so to speak, we'd be living in the fucking dark ages. Okay? Where, you know, it would be the fucking dark ages. It would be all over again. They would eliminate, as they already said, truth and objectivity are their enemy. Okay, there's no basis for these people in logic. Their entire basis is on pathos, good old emotion, man. There's no logic or rationale behind their actions. They're not looking ahead at the bigger picture. They're looking at this tiny crap. That's why they come up with terms like microaggressions, because they're so fragile that even the slightest little bump with into, you know, something that is not in agreement with their way of seeing things is enough to cause outrage and protest and tears and violence. You know, it's like that song, that mad song, you know, we're gonna stomp out hate, you know, punch it in the eye, kick it in the stomach and watch it die. You know, I don't remember the exact lyrics, but it's along those lines. And that was written like in 1971 or something. And guess what? Still as relevant as it was back then. Actually, even more so. All right, guys. Anyways, keep thinking free. Y'all have a good one. I will probably be making more videos. I'm in a video making mood today, and I've got time, and I've been meaning to do this for a while, so I'm going to be getting up a lot of stuff. Getting it up! So, all right, you guys have a great day. I will see you on the next round.